So I wanted to ask her, how do you make yourself known? Like, as much as you talk, I want to know like tips on how to make yourself known.
Okay. How do you make yourself known in the workplace?
Yes.
Yeah. Number one, you introduce yourself to people that you don't know. In most cases, when people come into a new space, it's difficult for them to just introduce themselves because they think they will be judged. But if you want to be known, especially to be known for what you are bringing, you need to be able to break the boundary. And you need to be able to break the fear that says you will be judged. You need to be willing to be judged so that you can be known. So introduce yourself to people. Number two, introduce what you bring to people. Of course, you may not introduce it to everybody, but how do you introduce it? You offer to help there. If somebody has a problem, you offer to bring a solution. When you see that something is lacking there, you offer to close that gap. Bit by bit, you are introducing yourself so that you can be known. When opportunities are being offered, you are always the first to raise your hand to want to do that. Or you're always the first to raise your hand to recommend somebody who can do that. You are actually saying, I am not just about me, but I'm also about others. So you introduce yourself intentionally by introducing who you are and also introducing the value that you bring to the organization. Does that help you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. 1, 2, ne? You also have a hand up, okay? 3.
With regards to the question you just answered, where do I now draw the line between overworking myself and building a good brand within the organization?
Yeah. Overworking yourself can have anything to do with you volunteering to do things that are also not aligning to what you are trying to build. That can be overworking yourself. But also there is being overworked. Now, being overworked has nothing to do with you, but with the directives of those who are in leadership or in management who are giving you work to do. But that has to do with how you are going to be managing your time and your work in as far as being overworked. Because sometimes we are overworked because we don't know how to manage time. But overworking yourself, it actually says, wena ngokwakho. You've got power in your hand to refuse certain things and to go for things that are contributing towards building your brand in the workplace.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sissy?
Sorry. Well, I think my question is kind of similar to Amira's, but then I was going to ask, how do I go about building my brand? Because I'm obviously in university and I'm going to go into the workplace, and being amongst a lot of other people that want to go into the same field as I want to go in and want to have the same position I want. How do I then stand out? Because like personally for me, I haven't really done much to stand out here in university. So then how do I build my brand so that when I get to the workplace, I'm seen?
Yeah. We still have about 7 months before Nyakuphela, ne? So it means for the next 7 months, you intentionally devote yourself to studying yourself, study your industry, and study the world. So how do you do that? You've got a tool called Google. So on Google, you're going to be downloading things that speaks to those 3 areas: yourself, your industry, and the world around you and your industry. And you devote the 7 months, at least an hour or 2 a day before your lala. It actually means now, if ever you were into television every day in the evening, you are going to be sacrificing on television. It actually means if you were spending time on my weekends, going to clubs and all those things, I'm now talking to everybody, you are going to be sacrificing that. Why? Because you've got 7 months to turn your life around to be ready for the world of work. Does that help you, Sissy?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then for more things, you can talk to Lisijo. I can give you a free 2 sessions personal branding coaching online so that I start you on that process. Ne? So talk to Lisijo to hook you up. Then, Sissy?
I just wanted to ask, what are the ways one can inquire, as you mentioned, the example of your wife working in an Afrikaner company.
Yeah.
How can one inquire about a culture of an organization where maybe they do not know who to contact concerning that? So how would you suggest a person to go about it, especially us who are about to enter into the workplace?
Yeah. First of all, you need to identify organizations and companies that hire people of your qualification, ne? And know them. Number 2, the digital world has given us a window into the world. It has given us access into organizations and companies. So you do research about those organizations. Ne? You can say, mhlambe, you've got 5 of them that you are targeting with, I want to work for one of these. Then you do research about them online. That is your desktop research. Ne? Number 3, if there are people, usisukhulume nge-LinkedIn, you go on LinkedIn, you find out, it's an example. There is something that I'm developing right now, and I want it to be on BET, not BET, ne? It's a channel. I want it to be on BET. So I don't know anybody on BET, but what I did, I went to people I know, Abagu Newsroom, Abagu ETV, Nabagu SAPC, and I asked them if they knew anybody who BET that commissions shows that I can speak to. None of them said they know anybody in that space. Then the second thing I did, I went into LinkedIn. I just typed the word BET, and a whole lot of people who work and who worked for BET came up. And all of them, I sent them inboxes on what I want to do and how I want them to help me. I think I've had about 3 or 4 people come back to me. So there are ways for you, but you just need to plug yourself into certain platforms to say, how can I get help from here? How can I get help from here? So that I can learn about the culture of those particular organizations. Does that help, Sissy? Okay. Sissy? I'm right, Mosu Sissy, ne? Mbona macici. I feel like rough these days. Fanlu be very clear. Fanlu be very clear. Ngoba uzozithola sekuthiwa uyasuwa ishwa ngoku. Sissy?
Yes, I wanted to ask on building your personal brand. Like Natasha said, how do you when starting now? What do workplaces and companies extend grace to people? Let's say you had a bad reputation, right? You've been having a bad reputation. But since high school in grade 10, but in second year you decide to change to build a good personal brand, but now you have all these negative things of clubbing and posting inappropriate pictures and stuff on your social medias, right? Do now companies extend grace to see the improvement and the progress you've made, or they just take everything?
It's a few companies that will extend grace. But they will extend grace because they can see the evidence of change.
Okay.
So somehow you will have to show them evidence. What you have seen, it's not who I am right now. You even have got witnesses, references that you can give them of people who can vouch for the new you. And when people lie about you, people in HR, somehow those people are like prophets, eh? They know how to sense people. They know how to find things about people. You know, so even people who are going to give reference about you, they're gonna have to be saying exactly who you are right now. But what I'm saying is that it's only a few companies who extend grace because they don't have time to waste and they don't have money to waste. Okay, let's take that one. We'll come back to you. Machita, please, man. Ngiyacela nani? Machita, please. How much time? How much time do you still have left? Sissy?
So I wanted to ask, like, in terms of interview questions, when the company asks you, "Gore, what value do you bring into the company?" As a person that is fresh out of university, right? I do not have experience. I've never been exposed to the workplace. So is it right for me to say such things? I mean, you said we have to find what is unique about you from all of my classmates. So is it such things as in universities, I was a SRC chairperson such as Terence, so I could bring like leadership skills to the Okanya. I did a mentoring program. Is it those type of things for a person that is straight out of university with no experience?
Yeah. I love the examples you were using. You were already giving answers to the question. So when you are bringing value to the workplace, it does not always mean you were employed before. Because the truth is that you may never have had opportunities of employment before. But there are certain things as you were growing that you got involved in. Unless ke bewilo mntana ke ovalelwa endlini, ophuma makuye esontweni, kuphunywe mawuye esikolweni kuphela bese kuthiwe ubaba akakutshela ukuthi ngo2 uphuma ngo1 ngo2 ngikufuna endlini. Ngiyabona? Ngama weekends uhlele ejardini like nje. Life is not lapho ke kuzoba problem. You're gonna have to prove value. How were you able to solve problems with your siblings? That's the only experience you can give. You know that. But in as far as value is concerned, it's not only about who you worked for, but it's also about other things that you did along the way. So coming to university and being involved in a sports club, in a music team, in a political thing, in a religious thing, whatever it is that you got involved in here, even in high school, those things, they come handy. They come in very handy, muscle figure, in spaces where you are now being asked about the value that you are bringing in. Because the thing about value is that value is consistent. Value is consistent because value is about who you are. When you're bringing value, you are bringing who you are and who you've been all along. Okay? So it's not just about having work experience. Being involved in the SRC, that is actually work. Yeah, that's work. When I was a student in the Western Cape, I used to hear that people like Abo Zizikoto, because we used to study together, people like Abo Zizikoto, they were involved in these political structures. There was a time when they were not paying school fees because the university was paying for them because that is work. Yeah. So I think it still happens even these days. I'm not sure, but that is work in itself. So there's a whole, oh, we have a chair. Chair, help us. Does it happen? Do they still pay for people who are involved at that level, Chair?
Yeah, provided that you don't have funding and they're going to cover that.
Okay, provided you don't have funding. Yeah. Okay, in our days, whether you had funding or not, just being involved at that level.
It can also become a credit. It can be the money that you can use probably when you complete, and then it will remain there. They don't give it to you direct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, you can still add value to your life. So if ever there are organizations on campus that you can join to volunteer somewhere, talk to Terence, man. Terence will hook you up. You know, he will hook you up, so that there is something that you can have on your CV that will speak for you. Okay. Okay, before I come to you, Sisi, then Sisi, the mic.
I just wanted to ask about you personally. How did you get to where you are, and how did you find branding and make that your brand?
How did I get to where I am? Hey, I'm trying to think what Ngupias. I'm really trying to think what Ngupi. It's by trial and error, man. In life, as you grow, you make mistakes. You learn from people. You learn from your own mistakes. But as I was talking earlier to Uliseho when we were doing the broadcasting, one of the things I said to Uti, how I got to where I am, it's by being true to myself, being authentic with who I am, understanding Sibusiso, this is who Sibusiso is, and this is how far Sibusiso can go. This is what Sibusiso can bring into the table. I was born to speak. I think I was born speaking. I'm not sure, but I was born to speak, and I enjoy speaking. But I had to say to myself, if I'm going to spend the rest of my life speaking, I might as well speak something that makes sense, something that will build the lives of people. At the same time, also something that will make sure that when I say it, my voice generates an invoice. Yeah, but so it actually said, now I had to say to myself, Sibusiso, if this is who you are, if this is what you think you were born to be, what then is your brand? I then began to carve a brand that says, I want to be a brand that turns people's ideas into global brands. In other words, I want to be a person ozothi umuntu makangibheka kusasa athi I am a brand today because of that man. So I'm a brand that makes other brands. So but it's a journey. It's not a one-time thing. Yeah, for a lack of a better word, you will be lucky if you wake up one morning and say, I know exactly who I am and I know exactly what I'm about. But in most cases, through trial and error, through systems and methods and methodologies and ways of doing things, you discover who you are. You discover the things that you resonate with, things that you enjoy doing, things that you don't like doing, you avoid, and things that you quickly jump into, Then as you sit down and begin to do an audit of your life, you are able to say, okay, I think I need to align myself to this. Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's a coincidence or it's by design, but Mr. Mfeka's mother happened to also be
Mike.
Touche, brother. Okay, you make your follow-up. It links to what he was saying. Eh? So his mother, coincidentally or by design, was a mentor to my mother. So they worked at the same hospital, and his mother was ahead of my mother and was a matron, while mine was an assistant manager, whatever the case may be. And later on, she joined the ranks of being a matron. And I think his mother played a pivotal role there in that happening. But one of the stories that was shared by my mother that doesn't quite correlate with what he's saying is that he was actually a quiet child. And for about 3 years, he said nothing. But the day he spoke, he never stopped speaking.
Hey, son. Yeah, in fact, when I said that, when I said to Guti, I think I was born speaking, I stopped a bit and I thought about that. Yeah, that's what they say. I don't know. I was 3 years old, but mom Jim. That's what they say. Hey, man. All right. There was a hand, then there's a hand.
Can I just finish up?
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
So
It's a follow-up.
this is a bit of a reflective question also, just based on you as a person. Say, okay, me as a 23-year-old now, I have goals and I have certain things that I want to do going forward. And I would just like to know from your perspective at your current age, when you were my age, looking back, how far, how proud of yourself are you? And do you think you've come a long way? And do you think you've found your purpose?
Yeah, I think I've found my purpose. I actually found my purpose. I think it was when I was 19 when I discovered my purpose, and immediately I went into pursuing it. I was 19. So, in as far as that is concerned, I'm fine. But I wish I had found my purpose even earlier than that. You know, I think I would be very far in life. I think by now I would be having about 3 PhDs by now, if I had found my purpose earlier in life. Because the fact that I found my purpose when I was 19 and I started working on it then, I still had youthful ways. I still wanted to be a young person, you know. And being a young person, sometimes you want to postpone certain things. You understand? But if I had found it earlier, yeah, things would have worked out better. Did it help you? Okay. It's 1. Your hand is up. 2, 3, Terence. 4. Then this is a vala. Okay. All right.
Okay, you mentioned so that you can be seen or to sell yourself or in the work when you are in the workplace. You mentioned that when you're in university you can join sport club, and when it comes to EFF I understand you'll be able to gain leadership skills and everything. So when it comes to sports, what is it that you'll be adding to the
Yeah. We sport. I'm not a sporty person, nizangisiza ke abaku sports. But my understanding ukuthi a sporting club is a community. And being a community, there are leadership responsibilities within that you can assume. There's a secretary, there's a treasurer, there's a chairperson of the team, and all those things. So leadership happens in that space. The fact that there is a coach, there are things that you are learning from the coach. We are not just learning how to do the sport that you're doing, but as the coach coaches you, it also teaches you how to coach others. So there are a whole lot of skills that you can learn within that particular sporting club or sporting fraternity that you are in. You just need to find it. Just need. Uzisondeze na coach. The coach, there's more to me than just umkusha or in netball, whatever sport that you are in. Yeah.
In fact, it comes into any premise. It can be sport. It can be any other type of club.
Yeah.
For example, my best friend was a soccer captain at our school from primary and then high school as well. So that being a soccer captain is very hard because there's a type of resilience, discipline, and tempo that you actually have to have in leading a team when they are frustrated, when they are winning and celebrating beyond what they should be doing. Those particular skills that you pick up in any sector is actually key, and that's something that you take also into the workplace as well. It doesn't just end from a sporting perspective or any other hobby or any other talent building crusade or anything of the sort. You have to recognize skills that you can take from every single activity that you're actually doing. If you think about how vast environmental health is, your module being a BSc and all the activities that they actually make you do, largely it's the skills that they actually bring on the table and try to insert in you so that you can walk the journey with those particular skills. I just wanted to add that point as well.
Yeah. In fact, when I got my first job, my first serious job, yeah. No, as young it is, I'm a holiday and all those things. But when I got my very serious job, I was working at the Gauteng legislature as a researcher and a political advisor. So for me to get that job, it's because of the things that I learned at university and at high school that I brought into my CV, and they spoke to me. They spoke for me during my interviews. So don't undermine the skills that you are getting in these clubs that you are involved in at the university. Okay. Sisi?
So I have a question. So how would you, from your personal experience, how would you advise someone who wants to build their brand, but like with speaking? Speaking can be a challenge for most people and for myself as well. So I'd love to build my own brand in like speaking and public speaking. But sometimes you get like criticism and sometimes you don't have an accent. So people will actually come for you because you don't have an accent. And like all those things, are there any like personal things you need to like resilient, you need like how do you like navigate all that and like take criticism and all those things specifically with speaking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Build yourself as a speaker first before you build a brand as a speaker. Yeah, because it won't help you to build a brand of a speaker, and when you come in front of people and people say, okay, what is that? So build yourself as a speaker first. Learn the art and the science of speaking. Learn how to deliver as a speaker. Learn theories of speaking. Learn from other speakers how they do speaking. Learn about types of public speaking and methods of public speaking. And when you've done that, and that can take you something like 3 to 5 years, it's fine. Don't be in a hurry. You're going somewhere. Then when you have done that, then you start focusing on now building yourself as a brand. Tungwenze an example. Years ago, the Konumama Lape TV Bambizuguti Felicia Mabuza. She used to invite a young man called Vusitembeguayo, who was a rock star speaker, they used to call him. But he wasn't a brand by then, but he was a prolific speaker. The kind of a speaker that would make people stand up and go like, wow, who is this boy? But over the years, he realized that just being a speaker will not do it. Just being a motivational speaker will not do it, because motivation is something that happens now, it ends in the next 5 minutes. He needed to then build a brand. He went into school, he got his MBA, he went overseas and all that. What he was doing, he was crafting the brand. He went into the media, started getting involved in things that bring value in the lives of people, developing programs and shows that develop other people. That's when Vusitembeguayo, VT, the brand, was born. So being a brand as a speaker, it may take time. Build yourself first as a speaker. Okay. Terence, then Sisi, then the lady in red jacket, you are the last one. Then we are done.
Okay,
Terence is used to addressing the masses.
Oh, no, thank you very much. I wanted to ask, sir, that you have mentioned that you, at some point, you have done the political science and then you have dropped it. I want to ask you what firstly made you to be interested in the political science, and then what perhaps the challenges that you have faced to be dropping out. And then also I want to ask that if myself, that I'm in a health profession, which is environmental health, and also I'm also politically affiliated, and take into consideration that people who might have problems with perspective of how politics are being viewed, how do I ensure that I can both balance my career and my health profession, actually my career as a health profession and my political affiliation?
Okay. So the first question was, why did I drop out from political sciences? Okay.
Why it made you to be interested after?
Okay. All right. I dropped out from political sciences in as far as academics are concerned, because I'm also a pastor. At that time, the call of God upon my life was becoming very strong, so I had to answer the call. So I left political sciences and I went into a school of theology to study the science of the Bible up to master's level. So I was not necessarily dropping out of academics. I was just dropping out so that I can now pursue this call. But it doesn't mean being involved in politics, it's something that I left completely. That is why even now and then, I do brand political analysis, where I do analysis of political brands in using the SABC as a broadcaster mostly, because that's the one that uses me now and then. Yeah, but so being involved in politics has been something that I've been doing all of my life. As a matter of fact, when I was going to be joining the Gauteng legislature, I had just been requested by Inkatha Freedom Party to go and represent them in parliament. I was not a member of Inkatha Freedom Party. They just met me through somebody and they said, no, we need this young man to go and represent us in parliament as one of the young people that we are sending to parliament. But I did not take up that opportunity because of the political problems of those days. So I've always been involved in politics and with politicians, but I dropped out using that word because I had to pursue my call. Now, in terms of you balancing, there's nothing wrong with you being in politics, but also being an environmental officer or practitioner or whatever. As a matter of fact, I would encourage you to study up to postgraduate, get your master's degree so that you can now come from a policy perspective, so that you'll be able, because of the fact that you understand the political landscape of South Africa, it will become easier for you to speak for the environment from a policy perspective. So you should not drop either. Instead, fuse the two so that both of them, they give you leverage. Okay, thank you. Sisi?
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Okay. Sir, I'm one of the people who don't like being on social media, and I'm really not a fan, not even a picture of myself. I don't want myself there.
All right.
So, for a person like that, how do I go around building my brand outside social media?
Okay. I would firstly advise you to have a social media presence. Because why? These days, when companies are checking into people's profiles, they will try to find something that you have done. You don't have to be heavily active, but have some presence. Because why? That reference will be made. But then apart from that, look at the type of personality that you are. To say, what kind of a personality that I am? Am I an outgoing person? Am I a reserved person? The career that I'm going into, what does it require? It requires people who are out there because they have to speak to communities, they have to go into certain things and help people who are living in certain environments and all those things. Now and then you will have to be communicating with people. Or does it need somebody who is reserved, who will sit in the office and all that? What is it that you prefer to do in as far as career is concerned? Because that which you prefer to do in as far as career is concerned will determine the kind of a brand you want to build. Sometimes you can build a brand that says, no, I don't want to be too much in people's faces. I don't want to be visiting people in their homes. I just want to be in the office and push administration. So your brand is within that. But what is important is that you are building a brand of excellence. So whether you are in people's faces or you are behind the scenes, wherever you are, the excellence that is in you will always show. So it's a matter of saying, what is it that you want to go into? Then you build your brand in line with what you want to go into in as far as your career is concerned. Does that help you, Sisi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, you're the last one.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I believe that there's a negative to everything, right? So I wanted to know, what are the negatives around personal branding? Is there a point where you like oversell yourself, or you just can do it anyhow?
Yeah. No, there are definitely negatives where personal branding is concerned. One of the negatives is that people will think we are born. Yeah, but there will be people who think you are better than them. But that is their perception. Anyway, because remember, branding is a management of perception. You are selling perception. So people will think you are better than them just because you are assertive, you are able to articulate yourself, you are able to respond quickly to problems and give solutions. And so it will cause people to be jealous of you. It will cause people to speak bad about you and all that. Those are the downsides of branding, of personal branding, and even branding itself. Another downside of branding, negative side of branding, or a disvalue of branding, is that people can clone you. People can clone you. How many people have you heard, Uti? There is a Facebook account that has been opened in my name. It is not mine. When people ask you for money, please don't respond to them. It's because people are able to clone other people on social media.
Chris Excel on Twitter.
Exactly.
Bianca Costa.
Exactly. You know. So and those are high-profile people. I'm just talking about ordinary people like me. You know, people can clone you. You know why? Because when you build a brand that is promising, that is emerging, people can take advantage of that. Also, when you are overselling yourself, people may think they know you personally. You know, how many people have you heard which my actor like TV ends or something epetayo, my mall because they have this thing you're going to see personally. We relate with you. As I close, I learned something that was said by Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey says he was with Denzel Washington. He was talking about the power of obscurity as opposed to notoriety. He was saying he was with Denzel Washington. And Denzel said to him, I'm going to teach you the difference between being a movie star and a TV star. He said, you're a TV star, I'm a movie star. Then they went to this place where there were fans. And these fans, when they saw Denzel, it was like they wanted to worship him. You know, so, wow, Mr. Denzel, I'm so happy to meet you, man. I never thought this day would come. You know, I love you so much. I've watched all of your movies. You know, I respect you so much. You know, can I have a picture with you, sir? Then they took picture with him, and that's it. The very same person went to Steve Harvey. Yeah, Steve, man, oh, man. I love your show, man. I watch you every evening, man, with my kids eating popcorn, man. Oh, man, I can't wait for your show to come on. Every time when it comes on, all of us are glued to the television, man. Hey, as I'm Shaila, I tell you, man, Steve, you're my man, Steve. And Denzel said to him, that's the difference. You see, with you, you are their buddy, you are their friend. You are their guy who comes on every evening. They wait for you to come on and you make them laugh and all that. And when the break comes on, they go and they check on their pots and they come back and Steve is there and all that. But me, they wait for years before I can come on because I don't come on often. But when I come on, I make such an impact. That is why they worship the ground I walk on. So there is power to notoriety, but there is also power to obscurity. So you can build a brand by being obscure, but it's a powerful brand. But you can also build a brand by being notorious, and that's a brand as well.
I want you to be the one to give away your own book based on however you feel.
All right. You asked me a lot of questions, so it's going to be yours.
Then this one is an entrepreneurial book that guides you. It's a step-by-step guide. So Tshepo Msiedi is actually, I wouldn't say a good friend, an associate. He has an accounting firm. He recently started his foundation for young entrepreneurs. I've reviewed this book even on my channel. He's our accountant at EnviroSwitch, and he's been our accountant since 2017. So this one, I want you guys to nominate someone who's entrepreneurial. I heard when they were talking about Tshepo jeans and so on, they pointed at someone, but there seems to be a competing name. Where's Sia? Okay.
Okay, before, maybe Terence, can you conduct a vote?
Yes.
Yeah, please conduct a vote between Sia and Terence. Let's see how many are for Sia.
No, I'm not participating.
You are not participating. Yeah, you're not participating. That's why you're going to be counting.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go for Sia. Let's get the hands for Sia. Terence will count.
Okay.
The whole class.
Okay. No, then Sia
The whole
takes
class.
it.
Sia takes
Sia
it.
takes it.
Oh, man.
Yes. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
With what you've been saying,
Yeah.
you've been basically saying this world is, you've been basically, I don't know how to put it, but you've been saying this world accommodates for a certain type of person. And okay, putting into mind that there are different types of people. So you're saying this world that will not accommodate someone who's quiet, who's shy, who's modest in the way they carry themselves, who doesn't really present themselves and articulate the way they want to. Is that what you basically say?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this world will accommodate someone who knows who they are. Because you can be an introvert and still be impactful. You can be an extrovert and not be impactful. You see, so this world will accommodate you when you know who you are. But also this world accommodates people that adds value to who the world is. So organizations, they want people who will add value to who the organization is. So when you're going to have to align yourself to where your value will be most useful.
Nice.
Does it help you? Okay.
Okay, guys, then we have a copy of DJ Spu's book, Billionaire Under Construction, The Mindset of an Entrepreneur. To EnviroSwitch, all the best with your company. So who's the new EnviroSwitch? Even here we'll need nominations. It can't be Sia. It can't be Sia. It can't be Sia. It has to be someone else. Therefore, show me the person. Show me the person. Okay, the social media guru. So she's actually the one that runs the UJ Environmental Health Instagram page.
Okay, beautiful.
And then who's a poet? He says no, so who's a poet? Okay, no nominations, so... Okay, there's a nomination for Natasha. Okay, guys, yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much.